Hello, everyone. Welcome to Her Story by Her Bible. This is a podcast discussing the intersection and exploring the intersection of womanhood and the Bible. And I am so excited today to introduce you to my friend Jhoana Nichols. And we have gotten to know each other through the recording of Spanish. And if you don't know, we are beginning to record Spanish in the NIV version in Latin American Spanish for women all over the continent, North and South America, and the globe to hear God's word in a sister's voice. So, welcome to Her Story, Joanna.
Hi, Jenny. Thank you for having me. This is a great honor. Thank you.
Thank you for joining me, and we're so excited to be getting to know you and excited for what you bring to the project too. So, I wanted to ask you about your story about how you came to Christ. Could you share a little bit of your story?
It's a kind of a complicated question. I don't want to sound mainstream like, you know, all of us, when we are touched by the grace of God, I think that we have this big light and we want to share it with everybody. And thinking about how I came, I would refer it as how God manifested in my life for years and years while I was saying no to Him, till I said, "Yes, Lord," and He would say, "I was waiting." And I'm grateful to Him because He was very patient. So I would say, in a broad spectrum, my parents were always busy people working, and they have the resources to pay for ladies that would come to the house and clean and take care of the kids. Not everybody at the same time, but there was one lady, and then she would marry or something, and she would go. So my parents were afraid that they would steal from us in the house. So they decided that there was a new Christian church, and Christianity, away from just Catholicism, was new in my town. So my parents were like, why don't we hire ladies from the Christian church? They know better. They know Christ. So these ladies would come to the house, and they would not just clean, but they would bring a cassette with songs for kids, and they would talk to me about who was my heavenly Father. So as a kid, I knew about God and Jesus and the Word through them, and I was so excited that I started going to school and telling my friends about God, and I was converting them. That's how I would call it. I was calling it back in the day. I was converting them when I was a kid. And sometimes I go back in my mind and I think, where was that passion? Where is that passion now? Is it that that's what Jesus was talking about when he was like, be more like the children, like we were not afraid. I was not afraid of sharing. I had a great news. Maybe while the kids were talking about Superman, I was like, no, this that I'm talking about is real. I can feel it. I can live it. And I tell you, I would read the Bibles that these ladies would share with me, because they would give me Bibles for kids and stories of David and everybody, and going to sleep with that peace. And my parents were happy because I was a well-behaved kid and they didn't know how that was happening. And that's what I think when I do the work that I do today, trying to think of that passion that girl used to have, thanks to the ladies that were close to me. Then I grew. There was no more ladies in the house, and my parents were wealthy. And then my dad passed in a terrible, terrible, terrible situation where he was kind of kidnapped, and people came to his
Oh,
business, and they kidnapped the people. And it was terrible. And he passed, and I was so mad towards God. This was when I was 19. And where I'm from, we don't go out of the house at 18 to go to college. We stayed till we married. And so it was very hard for me, and I was so upset to God, and I decided to leave him behind, and God didn't leave me behind. Now that I'm
Uh-huh.
in my 40 something, I go back and I say, I see your grace in every moment where I was putting myself in danger, and you were there, and I'm so
Mm-hmm.
grateful towards him because he didn't give up on me. I don't know
Mm-hmm.
how to express it. So I lived very difficult, weird situations all the time. There was a point my mom just couldn't bear my dad's passing, so she went to live with my grandma, and she was like, I'm done. And so I didn't have a place to go, and I kept on going to school because that was the only thing that I knew how to do. But
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have a
Mm-hmm.
house or a family or food. So first I went through different houses of friends and not family, but friends. And then the parents of the friends were like, well, this girl, no? So I started living on the streets, and I was helped by prostitutes and drug addicts, but they took very well care of me. They would
Mm-hmm.
never let me touch anything. They would go like, she's different. You don't touch her.
Mm-hmm.
You don't offer her stuff. And there was this lady in particular that she passed, and she would let me live with her. And when she brought a client, let's say, she
Mm-hmm.
would wake me up, and you go out. I would go out and wait, and then they would do whatever they were doing, and I would go in. And then the next day she would wake up and take me to school. She was taking care of me all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And she would always tell me, you are different. You are going to do something about your life. And I was like, and why you tell me this and you don't for yourself?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And she would say, this is the life that I choose, and this is the life I pick, and I think there's no redemption for me.
Oh.
Now I know that a
Mm-hmm.
resource like her Bible in Spanish can do a big
Mm-hmm.
difference for someone like her in her
Mm-hmm.
situation. And I love her because she was always there for me. And sometimes we don't know people and we just look at them and we say, she does this type of work, and we look away.
Mm-hmm.
And she never looked away from me. And I hear in the work that we are doing with her Bible, we already recorded some stuff, and something
Mm-hmm.
stuck in my mind. Jesus saying, truly I tell you that prostitutes and this and that, they have gone further than you. No? They are going to be the first
Mm-hmm.
one, something like that. And I thought about that the grace that God and His Word brings to all of us, no matter the
Mm-hmm.
background, and we decide to come to Him.
Mm-hmm.
So that the time went by, I graduated, I finished college. By this time, Eva was her name. She passed of an overdose, and they also said that maybe she was beaten to death. It was
Oh.
terrible, terrible.
Oh.
But then life happened. I finished college. I went to work for one of the main radio stations in Mexico. I traveled all Mexico. I started having very good jobs. I was a voice actor. I'm still a voice actress, but I was having the best accounts. I was having the life, and I was living
Mm-hmm.
in my apartment, and I was praised and everything. And then I would come home, and the nights were empty, sad. There was a void. I
Mm-hmm.
started doing exercise. I tried everything. Everything in the sense of what society tells you that you need to be
Mm-hmm.
filled. So I took more classes, more courses. I enrolled in more things to work. I did exercise every day, and the void was still there. I stopped going to parties and everything because when I was the most surrounded with people, that's when I was the most lonely.
Oh.
One day I went to some friend's Christmas party, and I saw my friends having kids, having boyfriends and girlfriends, and everybody moving on with their lives. And inside of me, it was so empty. So I came home and I got on my knees and I said, I'm ready to listen.
Mm.
And that night I dreamed that he was calling me, and he called me to listen to a service. And from there I haven't stopped.
Mm-hmm.
And then again I was feeling so empty. I was telling him, I have so much love to give, but I don't know where to put it. If I'm going to be the aunt of my nieces, that's fine, but tell me that there's no one for me, because I couldn't find him.
Mm-hmm.
And he gave me word in Ruth and confirmation with Abraham, saying that I was going to go far away and that he was going to use me there. And I believe that I woke up that day and I was so happy, and I'm waiting, I'm waiting, I'm waiting. And the years went by, and I knew, because I was reading my Bible. By that time, 2013, 14, there was no apps. Imagine that there was an app
Mm-hmm.
at her Bible. That would have been awesome. And it was not coming and not coming. I was like, Lord, but you promised. Where is he? Where is he? And patience and patience and patience. And that's not easy for me.
Yeah, and he was preparing you.
Yeah, he was working. And then I learned something else and something else. And it was like, you're getting ready to be a wife. And it was the hardest, more than finishing my college, because it was working with my stubbornness, with my doubts, with my image that I had of my dad, and the fear that that would bring me. As, is my husband going to be as macho as my dad? I
Mm-hmm.
Please, I love my dad, but he had his things.
Mm-hmm.
And there was some resentment that I couldn't solve with my dad, because my dad passed.
Mm-hmm.
But the Lord would work with me through His Word, and He still does, because it's a work in progress.
Mm-hmm.
After he passed in 2002, and there are still times that I go like, oh, why did this happen? And God
Mm-hmm.
always has the answer. So one day, I opened the door, and there he was. He knocked on the door. My husband, the most handsome man I've ever laid eyes on. And I felt the reassurance of, this is him. I've never seen a man like him. Like, I'm going to go to an exaggeration. Imagine the aura. Ah, that's an exaggeration. But I just knew. And it just happened that he lived in California. So I moved here to the States, and that's when I met my best friends that we studied the Bible together. And I think I deviated the answer. Just to say, I find the Lord every day in every little thing, talking to me and loving me every day, even when I didn't want to know anything about Him. So, how I came? Just because God is big.
Mm-hmm.
He's great.
Could you give an example of what you just said about God loving you every day?
Let's see. For years and years, I wanted to have a kid, and at the same time, I wasn't ready. And God would take me to work in ministries that have to do with kids. And as I said, my parents were not very present parents. But then by having a radio show, I had to go and to learn about kids. Or by having to attend certain things that had to do with work, I get to know more about kids. And for example, I don't know right now, no, how to potty train, and that's my how do I potty train? Then the Lord sent me an audiobook to work about potty training. I'm like, God, you're great. Thank you. From the little things to the big things, He's great.
Mm-hmm.
And this the promise again. One day God said, it's time. You are having a little one, and we shall call him Reuben, and there is the Reuben.
Mm-hmm. That's great.
Yeah.
Well, I had four sons, and I remember potty training with motivation and rewards. So I would take them to the store and let them pick out something. And so my oldest son picked out a truck and we left it in the packaging. It was, I think it was a garbage truck, and put it on top of the refrigerator so he could see it every day. That was his reward when he would potty train. And he was 3 by then. He was old enough. So that was the final motivation that got him
That's
to
awesome.
do
I
it.
will do that. Thank you. And they say boys take longer. So, yes, mine is going to be 3 in 2 weeks.
Uh-huh. Yeah, so some closure. With one of my other sons, it was picking out underwear that he liked, with the characters on it. So he wanted to wear them.
That is nice. I asked Ruben, do you like to live in a dirty diaper? Yes. What do you do with that?
Yes. Okay, so we're on mom talk here. I wanted to say also about going back to your father and the grief. And I know for my father, he's still living, but he was manipulative, and I felt like my biggest challenge as a Christian, I became a Christian at age 18, was forgiving him for the things that he had done and the manipulation and, yeah, even abuse. I feel like that took years.
Did you have the chance to tell him in person, like, I forgive you?
I have talked to him. Have I verbalized that? Well, even just saying, I mean, he never said, I love you. And then he did start saying that later on. He's changed a lot. And so our relationship is much better now. Yeah, we did have one big conversation that I remember. Were we able to resolve everything? No, but it was very helpful to resolve some things. When we become a Christian, Jesus wants to do healing in our lives. So I love what you shared about even that daily expressions of his love and his presence and his healing for us. And all of us experience that. Sometimes we have to stop and notice it because we may not, you know, if we're on our own agenda, we may be missing him. And I know I notice a lot more these days than I did in the past. So I'm grateful for that.
True, true. And what I find awesome is that you can speak to other women, and we all have a story of how God is working on us. And something I value about her Bible is that it's not a synthetic voice reading, because
Yes.
any book can do that.
Mm-hmm.
Any editorial can do that, and it's like, this is a product. But what her Bible offers is women like you and I working through our lives, learning and having this deep love for God,
Mm-hmm.
and talking to a sister,
Mm-hmm.
being respectful about the word and feeling the word. So while we are working on the recordings that we already did, I can feel the heart and the spirit. And that's what makes this ministry so different,
Mm-hmm.
because it's felt and it's loved from the very beginning. And we are talking about how our parents were, or our fathers were, towards us. And then we are narrating the letter of the best father ever, the model of
Yes.
for other ladies all around the Spanish world, because we say no, pues all Latin America, but who knows? Maybe somewhere else there is someone that finds the app and speaks Spanish. We will never know.
Yes. Yeah, so I'd love to talk more about that. I mean, women have been so responsive in English, and so I always felt that English would be a model for the globe, and that if American women need to hear God's word in a sister's voice, that the whole globe needs it. And so I'd love to hear your perspective from Latin America and the needs of women in Latin America and why you're passionate about the project.
Yeah, pues after COVID, the rates and the polls found is that people started listening more to audio, watching less TV, just a little bit. And in our Hispanic world, people read some, but they read more magazines. So audio had a spike, and also things that had to do with motivation or pastors' books or people that make comments about the Bible, but also the Bible. So what I believe is that society in general in the Spanish world or Hispanic world have more feeling of need, of fulfillment. I feel that the void that I had is not as uncommon. I was looking the other day at my graduation picture of long time ago. And we graduated, I think, 2009. And I was going through every girl that I graduated with. And I would say that around the 30% of us got married. Maybe the 10% finished college, then married. And then a tiny percent of that married after college and had kids. So you have all those other girls that are hard workers, fulfilled in their practices. They have good cars, their houses, apartments, they take care of their parents. And I will talk about the ones that are my friends with their permission. And they still feel that void. There is something that is missing. And I would think that I tell them is the biggest part. Is what fulfills your soul and your spirit is the connection to your Heavenly Father that is taking care of you. And I would say that in our Hispanic society, us women, this is my impression, and I please forgive me, anybody, if you think different, and that's fine. It's my impression that us women in this my generation, took the stand of, I'm not going just to stay at home. I'm going to work, and I'm not just going to work. I'm going to be a boss. And that's fine too. But it's a lot of work that we have put in our life. I have my little company, and I work every day, Jhoana Nichols. But I'm also a mom, a wife, and I want to be everywhere. We would say in Spanish, I want to be the ajonjolí of every mole. I want to be everywhere and help in every way. And it's a lot of work. And God says, rest in me. And we go trying to fulfill what the society expects from us, to be successful women, but at the same time be moms. Why you haven't married? Why this and that? So these women in Mexico, I say Mexico because I'm from Mexico, but they have this society telling them, are you going to graduate? Are you going to graduate? Are you going to finish your school? And they go, sí. They finished. Are you going to get married? Are you going to get married? I didn't have time to go and pick a husband. I've been studying. And it's not an easy decision. So I think that in my generation, we have put in ourselves so much work that we are missing what is the most important, and needs to know what is our true value, why we are loved, what loves mean, and how does it look like. Because in my macho society, I was told that if I don't get up and make the eggs like he likes and that how they should be at what time and always look perfect and have the kids perfect and do this and this and this and that, then at what time do you have your time to be with the Lord? To have the strength to do what is best for your kids and listen to your kids and listen to your husband and have this relationship. It's all about relationships. And I don't know if I answered your question.
No, that's very helpful to hear how women are pushing themselves and the culture is pushing them. And then they don't have time to reflect or even think about the needs of their soul. And I think that happens in American culture too, or US culture, where we get very busy and goal oriented and then we're just start running. And when we don't take time to reflect and understand ourselves, that's how we have emotional issues and we're not giving ourselves space to be the person that God created us to be, because he created us all unique and then we have a unique purpose. And it's not just what culture says, it's what has God designed us for and what is he inviting us into. And I love what you said in the beginning about the door. You opened the door because he has a door for us. You know, opening the door to begin a relationship with him, but also opening the door that he places before us for, for a loving, fulfilling life instead of just our plan and our, intensely following our plan.
Yes. I've done everything, a lot of stuff. I did my college. I finished college. I went and specialized in other stuff. We went through the United States on motorcycle in several trips, half-month trips. We did so many stuff that were fun and that would make you feel happy and fulfilled. And I'm happy for the opportunity, and I appreciate and love God for every opportunity that he has given me. But to me, being a wife and a mom, when I was pregnant of my kid, there were moments I was happy all the time. I wasn't upset or nothing. The only thing that would upset me was if my food order was not complete. Why? And I would cry.
We
But
get our
thanks God.
cravings.
Aside of that, I was always like, the world is so happy. And I say that I felt just a little tiny, itty bitty portion of how it feels, how must have felt or feels for God. I don't know how to say it, but the creation of something happening inside of you, it's mind blowing and it changes you forever. I used to criticize my mom. I would say, you cry about everything. Why do you cry? That's nothing for crying. It's just that the fly went by. Now, half of a fly can go by and I will make a drama out of it. Like, oh, it's so beautiful, the fly. Ah! Like, I say it's the mom effect. It's you've been touched by the Creator in a way that you are never the same. And there's no amount of degrees, traveling, nothing that can compare to that. Understanding that creation through the Bible. So you go back and read the first book of the Bible and you just go like, it's just something that blows my mind every time that I see his words there. I'm sorry if I'm going.
No. And his creation, his desire to create, how he expresses himself through creation, and that we are the recipients of that. We are his creations, and then we have the opportunity to be creative and to be used by him. And that brings great fulfillment. I wanted to ask you who your favorite female character in the Bible is, now that we're talking about God and creation.
There is a woman, a Canaanite woman. She doesn't have a name in the word, but I think I like that her name is not there because you can put the name that you want.
Mm-hmm.
And she comes to Jesus and she asks him to cure or help her daughter. And she's making a big fuss. She's I imagine this way. She's screaming in the back, please, 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 or who no, she's, and then the people that is walking with Jesus, they are telling Jesus, just dismiss her, tell her to go away. She's just bothering us, no, and people are looking at us. So Jesus turns around and he says something like, it's not good to feed the dogs, something like that, no,
Mm-hmm.
and she has something to say. She said, I imagine this mom, maybe that's why I like her so much, because it's my mom in me, not giving up for my
Mm-hmm.
kid. And knowing that she's Canaanite,
Yes.
she is not one of them to say, just per se. And she says, yes, Lord, but even the dogs eat from the crumbles of the table, come from the crumbles of the table of their master, of their
Mm-hmm.
or their lord. Maybe, sorry if I'm changing it, but that's the idea. So to me, that is huge, because even she's not a Jew, she's telling him that he is her Lord, and she believes.
Mm-hmm.
And I know I don't, as Jhoana Nichols, I don't deserve all the mercy and the love that my Heavenly Father has for me, and the love that Jesus has for me. But He gives me the best every day. He's God is patient to work with me with my mistakes. And even if I had just crumbles, I have way more, way. I don't give credit of how much, just as I was saying, for me, being touched by the Creator
Mm-hmm.
and having that life inside of me, I don't know how to say thank you to that. I've been touched forever, and that's not crumbles. But
Mm-hmm.
she has that big faith and that big love, and she goes way and beyond for her kid. And Jesus knows that. And I think this is not said in the Bible. This is my imagination. I think that the lesson was not for her, but for the
Mm-hmm.
people that were walking with Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
I know that he knows our hearts, and he knew that she was faithful and that she was doing everything she had to do to get his attention for her daughter. And I think that is wonderful that there's no name there, because it could be Jenny, Joanna, any of us.
Mm-hmm.
Just calling him with no intermediaries, going, Lord, I need you, and a crumble would be
Mm-hmm.
more than enough.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to have her faith towards any process that we do with her Bible or in my life. That faith
Mm-hmm.
of saying, Lord, I need you, we need you, and we are here with you, and for our sisters, and for our family.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yes.
see.
I love what you're saying, and her story is so interesting. And I love that you brought up that it was for the people around to see her faith, her persistence, and her, like what you were saying, her satisfaction with the crumbs. And yet that doesn't limit God, and He can do miracles through crumbs. You know, we may be in our religious family or team, and yet God sees more. He sees everyone. He sees the needs of the Canaanites and others. He knows what they need. He delights in their persistence of Him, and that anyone who ignores the naysayers around them and pursues God is someone that He delights in.
Yes, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, so thank you so much for this time, Joanna. I love hearing your heart and what you've learned and how God has spoken to you and built your faith. And it's been such a privilege to get to know you in the Spanish recording process, and we're just getting started. For our listeners, we've recorded Ephesians, Matthew, and Philippians, and so they're in the post-production process now. And we look forward to sharing them with you and more to come. And thank you so much for Joanna for the role you play as a voice and a coach. Joanna's helping us a lot. So we look forward to more and hearing more. So I just wanted to thank you so much for sharing your story with us for Her Story by Her Bible.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you for this opportunity. It was always in my heart when one of the things that I asked the Lord when I came to this beautiful and awesome country full of opportunities was exactly that, the chance to work with a ministry for women, with women. And
Oh.
it's my prayer and my hope that this material, this work that we are doing, reach women, because women are having a big voice and an important stand and place in Latin America, like our president, Claudia Sheinbaum. And imagine a woman that could wake every day listening to her Bible before making big decisions that builds the life of a nation. And
Mm-hmm.
that's my desire to go to every year, so Mexico and Latin America can be a more fulfilled place, filled with women, with the truth of God, and with real and eternal happiness. That
Mm-hmm.
is my desire.
Mm-hmm. Oh, thank you. I love hearing that. So thank you for sharing. And one of the things we do is we put everyone's picture and a little bio on our website. So you'll be able to, when we get ready to launch Spanish, you'll be able to see Joanna. And of course, if you're looking at YouTube, you're seeing her now. So yeah, so thank you so much, Joanna.
You're very welcome. Thank you, and God bless you. God bless you all.